Wike's scandal worse than Betta Edu. Timi Frank questions Tinubu's silence. Exactly. Wike, especially around land matters, rigging of elections, behavior in FCT, fighting the FCT senator, the lady senator. So what Wike's own is acting with a level of impunity that we've never seen in any politician across this country before now. And why is Tinubu not saying anything about it? That is the question. Is it because of the fear of losing 2027? Or why? Is it because of the contract he has signed with Wike? And why is Wike so pompous and Tinubu is not saying anything about it? So let's go ahead and see Timi Frank's perspective. Timi Frank, a former deputy spokesperson for the All Progressive Congress APC, has questioned President Bola Tinubu's silence regarding allegations of land grabbing and corruption against the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. So Frank's reaction came on the back of alleged large-scale illegal land allocations in the FCT reportedly benefiting Wike's family members, political allies, and associates. So the former APC chieftain referred to a recent publication and allegations by Senator Ireti Kingibe accusing Wike of aiding mass illegal acquisition of land in the nation's capital. Can you imagine? Wike's alleged illegal allocation of lands to his family members, cronies, and political associates at the expense of genuine applicants is a national scandal that demands urgent intervention, said Frank, who described the FCT minister's alleged actions as a clear case of impunity. Of course, it's a really serious case of impunity. So Frank, who is the United Liberation Movement for the West Papua Guinea ambassador to East Africa and the Middle East, warned that such acts could scare away both local and international investors. He recalled that President Buhari was swift to suspend former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management Betta Edu over allegations of corruption and wondered why similar decisiveness has not been applied to Wike's case. Edu was eventually sacked from the position. So why is Tinubu silent about Wike now? That is the question. So, Mr. President, let me remind you that former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Betta Edu's case, was not as grievous compared to what Wike has done, yet you suspended her and sacked her, he said. So why is Wike's case different despite the public exposure? This clearly shows that you are either a beneficiary of Wike's land-grabbing spree or an accomplice by your refusal to act in the face of public outcry against the East. So Frank further warned that Tinubu's silence could have far-reaching implications for his administration's credibility. So the continued silence of President Tinubu in the face of these weighty allegations is both troubling and unacceptable. So in these actions by the FCT ministers, or rather if these actions by the FCT minister go unchecked, they will tarnish the president's image and administration, he stated. The president get image. The politicians wondered if Tinubu's silence was for political convenience ahead of the 2027 elections. What does this silence say about your government, Mr. President? Are you, by omission or commission, endorsing these corrupt practices to build patronage and raise funds for the 2027 elections? Frank also berated the anti-corruption agencies and the National Assembly for their failure to probe the allegations. So are these insinuations or institutions now complicit in Wike's alleged corrupt practices? He asked. So it is shocking that the National Assembly, which has oversight functions over the FCT, has remained quiet despite these allegations. Could it be that they too have benefited from Wike's land distribution scheme? It's possible. It's possible. So he alleged that allegations are consistent with Wike's past behavior. He, he, his record in Rivers State speaks volumes, where he is rumored to be one of the highest private landowners. Now he is replicating the same pattern in the FCT, using proxies such as his father, children, sibling, and close friends, Frank said. So how did his 95 years old father or children who have never worked suddenly acquired prime lands in Abuja? This risks of conflict of interest and corruption of the highest order. So Frank further urged Tinubu to suspend Wike and set up an investigation or independent panel to investigate all land allocations made since he assumed the office. He will not do that. I'm sure he must have sworn a very deep covenant with Wike, so he will not do that. I know he will not do that. So, Mr. President, the Nigerian people are watching. If you fail to act, history will remember that by 2027, you left the indigenous people of Abuja as internally displaced persons in their own city. He warned. So you promised Nigerians government of integrity. Where is the investigation panel you once vowed to set up? Has it all been lip service? He insisted that anything short of Wike's resignation or suspension would imply complicity on the part of President and his administration. Suspend Wike immediately and set up an independent panel of inquiry into all FCT land allocations since he assumed office. Ensure accountability for all public officers involved in this alleged land grabbing scandal and restore confidence in the rule of law and the sanctity of the FCT land administration process, he said. Enough is enough. Wike hides under the guise of flashy projects while engaging in unprecedented corruption. Past FCT ministers developed new districts such as Wuse, Wuje, Jabi, and Jahi without looting or making noise. Why must we tolerate such impunity now? Mr. President, relieve Wike of his duties and let him answer for his sins. Your inaction will only confirm that inquiry and corruption are the hallmarks of your administration. Not be lie. Impunity and corruption, rather. Impunity and corruption are the hallmark of your administration. And I can see that actually the amount of allegation coming to this administration has automatically doubled what happened in Buhari's time. And it's quite unfortunate that this is happening under Tinubu, and he doesn't want to say anything about it. Also, Timi is very correct. Only the heavenly court will hold Wike and Tinubu. Wike and FCT land, Nigeria, my sister's land. Not be lie, yo. They are collecting land from people and sharing it among themselves. Quite unfortunate. Timi has said the right thing, calling Tinubu out to do something about Wike, and it is time all Nigerians will come out for Wike's sack. And I'm sure we are getting close to that point where all Nigerians will come out and tell Tinubu, sack Wike or we'll shut down your government. That is likely what will happen. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment for sharing over this Wike's land grabbing tendencies in Abuja.